Walking through the city, lights all aglow. Everybody's got a story to show. Wheels keep spinning, streets overflow. Hustle never stops, we're in the flow. Skylines high like our dreams in the air. Concrete jungle, we got flair. Rhythm of the night, we don't care. Underneath the stars we breathe rare. In this urban jungle we're alive. Heartbeats echo as we strive. Dreams collide where the streets survive. Together we'll thrive, side by side. Echoes of the past linger near. Future calls, we face it with no fear. Every corner tells a tale so clear. In the city, we chase what we hold dear. Shadows and whispers blend in the night. City's pulse beats with all its might. Lost in the chaos, but it feels right. We rise above, reach new heights. In this urban jungle, we're alive. Heartbeats echo as we strive. Dreams collide where the streets survive. Together we'll thrive, side by side.
And good afternoon, everybody. Today we are coming here live from Motion Entertainment for the part one of the Te Ipu Wai. Okay, I'm sorry, I've got to refer to my notes to remember the ward names. And I think, does the general ward have a slightly different name to the Māori ward?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, for some reason I was thinking I was about to. So it's Te Ipu Wai Auraki General Ward. I've got that correct? Yep. So these are the candidates here. Once Henry can put on the candidates who have decided to make part one happen. So let's get ready and hit the opening credits. Let's give a big round of applause to our candidates. Whoa, we lost the signal. Oh, I thought that was the big camera.
Oh, no, it's
Joy camera. As long as the big camera hasn't gone, that's the important one, because that has the close-up of the candidates. Okay, so we've had two candidates who have decided to brave their face. We do have an apologies from one of them who is going to try and make it for the 4 p.m. show. So the 4 p.m. show might be a very packed out one with people who don't tell us what they're happening and all turn up at the last minute and not have enough seats. Or microphones, all that sort of part there. So we're going to kick off with our candidates for their opening statements. Reynold, would you like to go first with your one opening statement of why you should receive one of the 6 ticks?
Thank you. Kia ora koutou. Ko McPherson.
Microphone, so those at home can hear.
Huh?
Microphone, so those at home can hear.
Right. Can you hear that now?
Yes.
Excellent. Kia ora koutou. Ko McPherson aho. I'm standing the general ward because Rotorua needs more experienced and better qualified councillors to improve governance. key issue. Rates have also risen dramatically, far beyond inflation. Debt's grown and money has been wasted on non-core services. So seniors, families and businesses are paying more, but actually getting less in the way of services. That's not fair, we can't afford it, and it must change. Now, I bring experience as a former councillor, chair of the Rotorua District Residents and Ratepayers, and vice president of the RSA. With a PhD and international expertise in governance and financial reform, I know how to turn organisations around. Hence, I stand for honesty and accountability. I will campaign to cut rates to inflation, reduce debt, restore free time-limited parking in the CBD, and refocus council on core services. Above all, I will listen. Thank you.
Okay, and next up we've got Jenny.
Kia ora koutou katoa, ko Jenny Chapman toku ingoa. I'm a teacher, I'm a mum of 5, and someone who has spent years serving our local community on school boards and other group organisations. I'm standing for Rotorua Lakes Council General Ward because I believe in local leadership that listens first and puts people at the heart of every decision. My campaign is grassroots. I know heaps of people in this town, from mums that I've instructed in yoga classes to multitudes of classes of students that I've taught across multiple schools, as well as their parents and whānau. I've listened to their voices for 16 years as a teacher within this community, and I've heard the things that they struggle with and the things that they're passionate about our city. I want to reflect their voice on council and be a voice for those people, particularly the voices of those that aren't often heard so well. I'm here to listen, to lead and to deliver within Rotorua Lakes Council.
Oh, that's very short, sharp and sweet. Okay, so let's get to the bots questions now, because we only have 2 candidates here, which we were expecting a lot more, 22 people standing for office. We thought we would have had a much more of a fuller set of audience, but you never know. 20 of them might turn up at 4 o'clock. That's going to be very interesting. Yeah. Okay, so we will operate on a 2-candidate model where one candidate will pick the box number and then both candidates will give out will answer the questions so that we can so we don't go through an exhaustive amount of buttons. So Jenny, would you like to go for the first box number? You've got between 1 or 28 and you're able to use either English or Te Reo Māori for number.
Tuarima, please.
Sorry?
Number 5.
Number 5, sorry. It's all good. Okay, we got B for Bravo. How would you stand up for your community interests if it differs from your own opinion, own position?
Right, well, I think that true leadership means service to the people, and that leadership can only come from hearing a multitude of different voices, from campaigning and surveying the voices from all across Rotorua, not just the people that are within my own circle. And it's taking the various views to the council table and hearing all of those different voices to come up with a decision that is best for the whole community. So my role on council wouldn't be to impose my own thoughts, but be to bring the thoughts and voices of our local community and share those voices in the decision-making process, and incorporating those voices with the science and with the research and using all of those aspects to come up with the best decision for our local community. Kia ora.
Okay, Reynold, your answer to that question.
Certainly. That's a good question, by the way. As a councillor, I will discharge my oath to serve all in the community. I will always listen to residents and put their views at the centre of decision making. If my personal opinion is different, I will separate it from the community's needs and make that clear. To this end, I will consult widely and respect diverse voices, as we do in the Rotorua District Residents and Ratepayers. I will use facts, evidence, and cost-benefit analysis to guide fair decisions. Once the majority decision is reached, however, I will represent the majority interest to the public, not my own. I'll explain openly why a decision has been made, even if it goes against my personal views. That's part of the responsibility of a councillor. because this builds trust and it builds accountability. I'll also look for compromise where interests differ. My goal is always to achieve fair, balanced outcomes, and I will stand for the community, not just myself. Thank you.
Okay, and Reynold, what box number?
26, is that the top
Yep,
number?
well, 28's the top number, but we can certainly take 26.
Okay. What's
Okay, we got M.
N for Michael?
Yep, or for Muapara. Okay, do you support reviewing council spending priorities before turning to further rate increases?
Yep, Reynolds. Okay. Yes, I support reviewing council spending priorities before asking ratepayers for more. Rates must be kept to inflation, so households are not burdened with unsustainable increases. Incoming elected members must also have the mandate to set fresh priorities that reflect the community's current needs, rather than being bound by outgoing legacy projects and long-term plans. Core services such as water, infrastructure, waste, safety and governance must come first and be funded properly. Discretionary spending on non-core services must be progressively reduced or stopped when it does not deliver clear value to our community. This disciplined approach will protect essential services, restore public confidence, and assure ratepayers' money is spent fairly and responsibly. Council must live within its means, just as families and businesses have to. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny.
Before raising rates, we must review spending priorities. Ratepayers should be confident that the council has trimmed waste and focused on essentials before asking for more. But furthermore to that, we need to be looking for alternative ways of creating revenue within Rotorua rather than just relying on ratepayers to be funding that. I think looking towards the tourism industry and outside investment into Rotorua needs to be explored and looked at, because our ratepayers can't keep coming up with the money that subsidises the huge tourist industry in Rotorua and the use of the infrastructure that those 15,000 visitors every day in Rotorua put on the infrastructure that we have in place, on the roads, the water, the sewerage, the public toilets, our beautiful nature reserves, and all of those things. So yeah, I think a review definitely needs to happen. Kia ora.
Okay, and Jenny, what box number would you like?
The money that
Sorry.
Oh, I
Sorry
got a
about
second turn. Thanks. I will have number 1, please.
Number 1. Sorry about that. I thought my computer would automatically go to mute, but didn't quite go to plan. Okay, we've got N for Nongataha. How will you ensure safe, reliable drinking water and wastewater services for our growing population?
So safe, reliable drinking water and wastewater services are non-negotiable in a city like Rotorua. We must invest in infrastructure that keeps pace with growth and protects our lakes and rivers. All of our infrastructure needs to be both environmentally and financially sustainable. And again, I say about the tourists that come into our city, they need to be stumping up with some of the money that it costs to support the huge tourist industry in Rotorua. I think even just a small subsidy on tourist activities would make a huge difference with the cost of all of these things. 15,000 visitors, if they did one activity a day and there was $1 tax on it, $15,000 a day adds up a lot. And we need to be consistently having safe drinking water, and all of the wastewater services that we can rely upon, not just for our locals, but for our tourists as well. Kia ora.
And we've got Reynold.
Thank you. I will ensure safe...
Microphone.
Good. I will ensure safe, reliable water, drinking water and wastewater services by insisting on planning that uses evidence and local knowledge, not inflated growth estimates as we've seen in the past. Population projections must be realistic and reflect Rotorua's actual housing, demographics, and land use trends. Development of water services must be based on best science, sound engineering, and proven environmental practices. I'll prioritise maintenance of existing networks, timely upgrades, and investment in resilient infrastructure. Smart technology will be used to monitor systems and detect problems early. I'll also work with iwi, community groups, and central government to secure funding and expertise. And by focusing on practical needs and core services, we can provide safe, reliable, and affordable water and wastewater systems for our community now and into the future. Thank you.
Now, I know it's not in the question, but if someone gets sick from untreated drinking water from a main supply, does ACC, for instance, cover it? Do we know that at all or not? Or
I can't think of an example.
no, I've not seen an example, but I'm wondering because if we don't have safe drinking water, our tourists could end up being a burden on our hospital system. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's an
yeah,
interesting
a vital reason for it to be adequately funded. Reynold, what box number?
5.
Sorry, 5's got taken, but we got 4 or 6.
4 will do.
Okay, we got Z for Zulu. What are your thoughts on rate capping?
Glad you asked.
Oh, I know. It's the golden question at the moment. I do know the taxpayers union is asking a bunch of candidates to sign pledges.
Correct. My thoughts on rates capping. I support rates capping because it protects households from unsustainable increases. Rates should not rise faster than inflation because families and businesses are already under acute pressure. Capping forces council to live within its means, just as residents must. It requires clear priorities with funding focused on legislated core services such as water, infrastructure, waste, safety and governance, whereas discretionary spending on non-essential projects and subsidies and vanity ventures must progressively be reduced. Rates capping also drives stronger financial discipline and accountability by making councillors justify every dollar spent. Alongside smarter asset management, debt reduction, and exploring alternative funding sources, rates capping can deliver fairness, stability, and trust. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny.
I think that capping rates can sound really attractive, but it does risk cutting essential services and as well as unforeseen consequences like the cost of other things going up to subsidise that, like the use of the pool or the use of any of the local council facilities. Dog registration and all of that would probably go up at the same time. I think a better approach is diversifying income, and my priority is a tourist levy. It's a fair, future-focused policy that ensures visitors help pay for the services and infrastructure that we all use. That's a real relief for ratepayers. I'm not opposed to capping the rates, but I do think that it needs to be explored thoroughly to make sure that there aren't unforeseen consequences for our local ratepayers that will actually end up seeming like they're paying more than even if we hadn't capped rates. Kia ora.
Yes, that could be a downside if you have a cap in there. The maximum cap is put up every year regardless of the situation. Yeah. Okay, Jenny, what box number?
20, please.
20. Oh, yes. The good old drinking age at one point in time. And I better actually get a box number out instead of talking about the drinking age. I do know it's liquor licenses are a core function of councils, but that's not our main focus today. Now we've got F for Foxtrot. Do you support strengthening iwi partnerships and ensuring council decisions reflect to the Te Tiriti principles?
Yes, iwi partnerships make us stronger. Te Tiriti o Waitangi is a living promise, and honouring it makes decisions more just, more sustainable and future-focused for the whole community. In my job as a teacher, we naturally consult with iwi, we connect with whānau across Rotorua, and every time that we do that, we reach a better decision for the wider community as a whole. Our mana whenua bring with them the long-term knowledge of this place, as well as the local stories. And being able to confidently share those stories are what attracts so many tourists to Rotorua. I think that strengthening iwi partnerships is only good for Rotorua, and I really feel quite strongly about this. Kia ora.
Okay, Reynold.
Thank you. Yes, I also support strengthening iwi partnerships and ensuring council decisions reflect the treaty principles. Iwi are tangata whenua and must be treated with respect and fairness. Genuine partnership means listening, consulting, and working together on issues that matter to Maori and to the wider community. Hence, at the same time, it's vital to protect equal rights for everyone in Rotorua. That's why I'll also strengthen partnerships with other legitimate interest groups and cultural communities. Rotorua is proudly multicultural, and every voice deserves to be heard. I would ensure that council decisions are based on open consultation, sound evidence, and fairness. So, given the new legislation expected by Christmas, we must deliver real benefits in legislated core service areas, which are water services, network infrastructure, community facilities and services, regulatory and compliance services, waste management, emergency management and public safety, and democratic governance. Thank you.
Okay, Reynold, what box number?
6.
Okay, we've got 6 there. Okay, we've got AA for AA batteries. How will you ensure the housing growth is affordable, sustainable, and supported by the right infrastructure?
Thank you. Thank you. I will ensure that housing growth is affordable, sustainable, and supported by the right infrastructure through careful planning and clear priorities. Development must reflect real population growth, not inflated forecasts, so supply meets actual demand. Housing must be affordable with planning rules that enable a mix of options, including papakainga and community housing. Sustainability means good urban design, protecting green spaces, and building resilience to flooding, drought, and rising temperatures. Infrastructure such as roads, water, wastewater, stormwater, and community facilities must be placed before large-scale developments proceed. They must be in place. I'd also support strong partnerships for iwi, developers, and government to share investment and reduce risks. The approach will deliver housing that meets Rotorua's needs without unfairly burdening ratepayers. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny.
I believe that housing must be affordable and supported by infrastructure. It needs to not just be affordable, but it needs to reflect our community and the people that are going to be living within those houses. As a teacher, I've seen many of the effects of the emergency housing on students that I've taught, but also the beautiful communities that have been built with the new housing. I wish that there was more green space for those children to play, because I think that's absolutely vital, that we think of not just the living space but the playing space and being within safe places that the children can play. So growth shouldn't mean that locals shoulder all of that cost either. I come back to the tourist levy and being able to, because it's not just spaces for our locals to live, but inevitably there'll be places that tourists need to stay as well. So we need to think of the roads, the water and the parks, and we need to build for a future without overburdening our local households. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Jenny, what box number?
Number 8, please.
Number 8. Okay. We got A for Alpha. Do you support political party endorsements of local government candidates?
I think and believe that local government should serve people and not serve parties. I'm standing as an independent voice because our community deserve leaders who listen first, not those bound to a party line. Decisions need to reflect Rotorua's priorities, not Wellington's politics. I really think that it ties your hands behind your back if you are stuck with a political party, because we should be going out to our local community and hearing the voices of Rotorua people, not just going along the party lines of the major parties that are represented in Wellington. I want to be able to vote on the decisions that are on the table, not the party politics that are reflected in Wellington. I want to be able to see every decision that comes to the council table and reflect on it for its merits, not be told how to vote on every decision. And I want to be able to be a voice for the people that I'm representing, not a voice for a party. Kia ora.
And just for a point of reference here, as a group from Wellington, we're not interfering in the processes of councils. We're helping councils, candidates get the opportunity to be known. And so one good thing that comes from Wellington, but it does feel a bit weird because in Wellington we say we don't want Pakadanga or the North Shore interfering in our politics, being the electorates the two local government ministers have represented.
Fair enough. That is a very red shirt, though, so I don't know if that's a subliminal message.
No, I'll talk privately on this one, but yeah, I won't say it publicly, but I think you might be a bit shocked with what I could say. Okay, Reynolds.
Now, do I support political party endorsement of local government candidates? Yes, I do, and I believe that such declarations should be mandatory. Many candidates mislead voters by failing to declare their political party affiliations or by claiming to be independent when they're not. To you. Good. This hides who funds them, you see, and who they answer to. Mandatory declarations would also bring honesty and transparency. Now, party labels, on the other hand, help voters understand the priorities and positions of the parties. Parties can also be held accountable for the behaviour and the performance of their councillors. That's good. They can vet and train candidates, improving competence and reduce shallow populism. Now, councils with party-aligned members are more likely to deliver consistent and long-term strategies because they have the benefit of research services. Party campaigning also increases the visibility of local elections and boosts local turnout. So, clear declarations strengthen democracy and fairness. So candidates should stop hiding and be honest about their affiliations and endorsements so voters can make informed choices. Thank you.
I'm not sure the Wellington ratepayers would agree with you on political parties have made things better, especially when some of them believe that they can whip their fellow members to go what they think are best, not what the community wants. And we've experienced that ourselves in Newtown, where I live, where some political candidates who don't live in our constituency think they know it's better. No, Newtown, you cannot have your 2,000 homes and a third of the place in there. We'd rather give you 800 across 3 times the area. And, so that political parties ruined that for us in Newtown.
Yes, I agree. But remember, those are a small sample, about 5 examples, and do not provide a general rule.
No.
Our general rules are based on democratic principles.
Correct, yeah. But yeah, that's an interesting, unique thing from Wellington. But yeah, or from Newtown, I should say. Yes, we've got a pump in Newtown, the only part of the country where we have, 2 hospitals and a zoo, but nowhere you can buy your car, Rego. Two hospitals. No, 3. Actually, no, technically. Well, depends where Wakefield, which side of the postcode it bounds on. Yeah, it kind of counts. Yeah. Wakefield's on the suburb boundary.
Extemporaneous discussion.
Oh no, that's part of the show. It adds the flavour.
Oh,
that's the drama. That's what makes it dramatic.
That puts the human touch to things.
Good.
But I've got to keep my mouth shut about Newtown. Otherwise, I might end up taking tourists away. So, Riddle, what box number?
Is it 3 available?
Yes, 3 is available. Okay. We got P for Papamoa. What role should councils play in protecting natural areas and biodiversity while supporting economic growth?
Thank you. Yes, good question. Councils must protect natural areas and biodiversity while supporting sustainable economic growth. Healthy ecosystems provide clean water, fertile soils, and the natural beauty that underpins tourism and recreation. Very important in this area. Council should therefore use sound planning rules, monitoring and enforcement to safeguard the lakes, the forests, the wetlands and the reserves from pollution and overuse. It should also work with iwi, environmental groups and landowners to restore habitats and protect native species. At the same time, Council must support industries in our area, such as forestry, farming and tourism, to adopt sustainable practices that reduce harm and add long-term value. So, protecting the environment is a legislated core service of Council and an investment in our future. By balancing stewardship with development, we can build a resilient economy while safeguarding our natural heritage. Thank you.
Jenny.
So Council plays a pivotal role in protecting biodiversity and supporting growth, and they both go hand in hand. But it should be guided by kaitiakitanga. We should be protecting and taking care of our local environment and ensure that development enhances both economic well-being and our natural environment. We know that tourism is a backbone of Rotorua. It's 5.5% of our GDP in this area. So we need to be front-footing issues that are affecting our local environment, because it is literally a funding source for us, that tourists come here to see our geothermal area and our lakes and our beautiful forests and our nature all around us. So we need to be supporting and promoting local groups that are doing their part to protect our environment and to promote our local spaces. And we need to be really focusing on this in policy making and also in enforcing those things. Kia ora.
Okay, and Jenny, what box number?
Number 2, please.
Number 2. Gee, those low numbers seem to be going very quick today. Okay, we got G for geyser, because you can actually use that as a name over here instead of golf. Sorry, hold on a moment. Ignore the word regional council and replace it with Rotorua Lakes District Council rates are concern for many. How will you keep rates fair and affordable while meeting environmental and infrastructural obligations?
Is this question G?
Yeah, I think it's me though. It's me, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm double checking G just because it shouldn't say regional council. It should be saying, what's it called?
No, that's
Okay.
the right one for me.
It's similar, yeah, so there's a bit more that's been added to it than what should be. Okay, so the question on the actual sheet says, rates affordability is a major concern. What steps would you take to keep rates sustainable without cutting essential services?
Good.
I
So-
probably have got a wrong card put in there.
That's all right. We'll let you away with it this time. So rates are a real strain for our families. My focus will always be protecting essentials and cutting waste. But we must also rethink how we fund council. We need to think creatively to bring in different and varied funding streams and not just rely on our local families and businesses to pay for the rates. I learned recently that the government and the government land doesn't have rates taxes on it, which I think is just absolutely crazy, and that we pay GST on our rates, but the government doesn't pay rates on the land. So I would really love to be able to see how we could make that work for us and make some changes there. Visitors use our roads, our parks and our services, so it's really fair that they contribute to that. This would take some pressure off households and make our system more sustainable. We don't want our local families being the ones that hold the burden of all of the cost of everything that's extra in this town. Kia ora.
Reynold.
Yeah, thank you. Rates affordability has been a major concern for RDRR for over a decade, and I'll take firm steps if I can to cap rates at inflation while protecting essential services. Indeed, the legislation coming in by Christmas will guarantee that. So the focus will be on legislated core services, again, water services, network infrastructure, community facilities and services, regulatory and compliance services, waste management, emergency management and public safety, and democratic governance. They must be delivered efficiently and to a high standard. Now, at the same time, we must cut discretionary spending on subsidies for tourism and events, sponsorships of sports clubs and festivals, commercial promotions, risky property or business ventures, and wasteful vanity projects or political theatre. Ratepayers should not be forced to fund activities. They currently contribute about $118 million every year. Some of that money is still going to discretionary projects. So by focusing on core services and cutting discretionary spending, I will work to keep rates affordable and fair. Thank you.
And here's something worth noting, and this is where I think you should do it. Prisons do not pay rates in the country, but prisoners live there. Prisoners use the water, they use the sewage, and if their sentence is currently under current law, less than 3 years, they can also vote.
Wow.
So that's a random piece of fact in there. Whereas schools, on the other hand, who lives at a school, but the people who tend to be going to the school which are exempt from rates are usually the school kids of parents paying rates into the system. So some random facts to add to who should target the prisons is my place, is the first place I believe you should always go for if you're trying to get more rates revenue. Reynold, what box number?
Actually, that argument applies to many government departments located in Rotorua.
Yeah.
They don't pay rates.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Quite.
yeah, and I think that's the easiest example to bring up on there. Yeah, is prisons, because they.
But even if some of the GST came back to be tagged for our local community, but I think that the central government gets multiple bites of the tax pie over and over. They just gobble it down.
Oh, exactly. I mean, put it this way: wouldn't it be nice if, say, GST, or say we're in Wellington. I pay rates. Henry pays rates to Kapiti Coast District Council. But hey, if we spent money in the community, it went to the Rotorua District Council, not all to Wellington.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. But they are meant to pay communities, provide community supports. But
but they're charities. The government isn't a charity, is it?
No. Okay. Rena, what box number?
I think the next one available is number 6, isn't it?
No, number 7.
7. 7's good.
Okay, we got R for, and we're going to choose a different one. Rotorua. And I don't know why, but I like the lake. R. Do you support investment in better stormwater systems to reduce flooding risks?
Yes, I support investment in better stormwater systems to reduce flooding risks, particularly in Nongataha. Rotorua is already experiencing heavier rainfall and more extreme weather, which places real pressure on our existing networks. Upgrading stormwater infrastructure is also essential to protect homes, businesses, and community facilities from damage. It is a legislated core service in the new legislation about to arrive, and it has to use sound engineering and local knowledge to identify high-risk areas and target investment effectively. Council should also look at smart technology and natural solutions, such as wetlands and green spaces, to manage runoff and reduce future risks, particularly in Nongataha. By investing wisely and planning ahead, we can protect communities, lower long-term costs, and build a more resilient Rotorua. Thank you.
Okay, and Jenny.
I wouldn't even think that this was a debatable question, to be honest. Yes, obviously, I support upgrading stormwater systems. I think it's absolutely vital to reduce the flooding and prepare for climate impacts. Particularly, as Reynolds said, out in Nongataha, but also down a lot of our main roads. Just keeping up with clearing the drains seems to be quite the task these days. And around Kuido Park, around Kahukura Rugby Club, all around there. So investment now will save future costs and protect homes and stop the runoff. If the stormwater system isn't coping, where does it go? It goes into our rivers and our lakes, and all of that is not just affecting our tourism, but it's affecting lake health and affecting our rivers' health and having a wider impact on our beautiful environment. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny, what box number?
Iwa, please.
Iwa, no problem. Okay, we got L for Lima. What are your priorities for maintaining and improving our roads, footpaths, and public transport connections from a Rotorua Lakes District Council perspective?
Okay, so safe roads and also safe footpaths and safe cycleways are absolutely essential for a modern city. My priorities are strong maintenance services, safer walking and cycling options, and improving public transport so that communities stay connected, but also so that communities feel safe. At the moment, I'm not that keen on letting my teenagers catch the buses from town. It's not a safe place for our teenagers to be, even in the afternoon, let alone in the evening. So I would like to see that improved. Also for our elderly, I think a lot of our footpaths have a lot of tripping hazards on them and need to be maintained so that mobility scooters and walkers can be used safely for our elderly. And yeah, just keeping up with not just the roads, but the footpaths and the more environmentally ways of travelling too. Thank you.
Okay, Reynold.
Agreed. My priority is to keep Rotorua's roads, footpaths and public transport safe and reliable. Roads must be properly maintained with timely repairs and planned upgrades to reduce congestion and improve safety. Footpaths need to be well kept and accessible for children, as you said, seniors and people with disabilities. I will support systematic maintenance and extensions where they're needed most. Public transport must be affordable, reliable and extensions where they're needed most. I'll work with regional and central government to secure funding and deliver improvements. These services, by the way, are soon to be legislated core responsibilities and must come before discretionary spending. By focusing on core transport infrastructure, we can support daily mobility, strengthen economic activity and improve quality of life for all Rotorua residents. Thank you.
Okay, Reynold, what box number?
Number 8.
Number 8's not gone. The nearest lowest one is 10. You can go right up to 19 or 10. Okay, we got O for Opotiki. Do you support borrowing funds to fund major infrastructure, or should we focus on a pay-as-you-go model?
Thanks, great question. Given my experience internationally, I support a strategic blend of borrowing and pay-as-you-go funding, but it must be carefully managed. Rotorua already carries a debt of 460 million, and reducing this burden must be a priority given the increasing interest charges. Any new borrowing must be limited to essential long-term infrastructure that delivers clear benefits across generations. Day-to-day operations and smaller projects should be funded through a pay-as-you-go model to avoid unnecessary interest costs. Rates must be kept to inflation so households are not overburdened. And council should also focus strictly on legislated core services and shed discretionary spending, and plan according to actual populations and economic growth, not inflated forecasts. This disciplined approach will balance today's needs with financial sustainability for the future. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny.
Yes, I think for big infrastructure, borrowing, when managed carefully, spreads the cost fairly across generations who are going to benefit from it as well. But I do think it needs to be done incredibly carefully because, as Reynold said, there is a huge amount of borrowing that's been done by by multiple councils, and the interest that burden on that not just us but our children, our children's children will end up paying is huge. It's essential that any borrowing that's done is transparent and that it's responsibly balanced. So ratepayers have the right to know what they're borrowing, what the terms are, and how long that's going to be paid off for. But it needs to be prioritised to make sure that the borrowing is genuinely worth it and that there's a payoff for ratepayers down the line. Thank you.
Okay, and Jenny, what box number?
Tacoma Toru.
Tacoma Toru, yes, we can do that. The age that most children start college at. Some are Tacoma Roa. Okay, we've got AB for the All Blacks. Do you support investments in alternative transport options like cycling and walking infrastructure?
Yes, I do. I am an avid cyclist and I love to road cycle and I love to mountain bike as well. But I think in a city like ours, people come from outside Rotorua to experience our city. And I think a great way to slow them down a bit and to take them to multiple places is to make it easy to cycle around, easy to walk around, and just make it accessible for lots of people, but not at the cost of our locals being able to drive around our city. It needs to be accessible in multiple different ways. I think there's multiple places in Rotorua that are not so safe to cycle. In fact, I live out Tikitiri and I'm not so keen to cycle on the highway. And a part of that is road maintenance. So the potholes aren't so great with my road bike. I've had a few flat tires. There's a lot of debris, a lot of rubbish on the road as well. So I think road maintenance isn't just about keeping roads pothole free. It's a lot more complicated than that. And we need to think of our cyclists for sure.
Okay, Reynold.
I had lived that one because we didn't have it. So I was passionate about
The
it.
question is not listed.
Oh. Okay. Okay, I may have had the wrong slide. Oh, it's not exactly the wrong. Oh, is that another? Oh, this is doing my head in about the number of double ups in there. Okay. Oh, I'll look at the history on that one. That have been. Okay. Okay. Should we move on to a new question?
Next number.
Yep.
I reckon make him give it a crack. Go on, Reynold. Give it a crack. I gave it a crack.
Sure. Give me the question again.
Do you support investment in alternative transport options like cycling and walking infrastructure?
Yes, I do. In a guarded way. We should look at the current patterns of usage, the population growth predictions, and then to the best extent we can, estimate needs area by area. The council did this in the last 2 or 3 years, and they came up with plans for each of the parts of Rotorua. They were only partially successful, and I think they've abandoned them now. So I'd like to see some good science being applied, some good planning being applied to this issue, and making very careful decisions. Because the back of my mind is the fact that we do have 460 million of debt. We're expecting 118 million every year from our ratepayers, and that money has got to be used very, very cautiously. Thank you.
You did great. Didn't even need any notes. Well done.
Reynold, what box number?
Next available.
11.
11 is good.
Okay, we got C for Charlie.
C for Charlie.
I'm getting nervous here. How will you ensure our community has a strong voice as the government rolls out major reforms such as the Local Government Systems Improvement Amendment Bill and Local Water Done Well?
Now, this is absolutely critical because both of these acts, both of these decisions, policies, lies ahead. We need a strong voice by putting residents at the centre of every reform. And I'll use my decades of research skills to study proposals that are now coming before us very, very carefully, and then explain their impacts in plain language at the ratepayers Facebook. I will invite open feedback, listen to all sectors, and reflect those views in council debates and submissions. I'll push for full consultation of all interests and insist on decisions being made in public, not behind closed doors. And I'll happily lobby central government so Rotorua's concerns are heard and respected. I'll also build alliances with other councils to strengthen our influence. Above all, I'll defend local democracy and make sure reforms do not take power away from the people of Rotorua. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny.
I believe that a strong voice starts with even stronger listening. We need to really consult our community and hear what they want and what they want for Rotorua before we go all guns blazing and telling central government what it is that we want. major reforms risk taking that decision making away from our communities. So it's our job as councillors to go into the community and bring their voice back. I will advocate to ensure that Rotorua has a strong voice. I'm not afraid to step forward, and I'm not afraid to share my opinions, and I'm certainly not afraid to share the voices of other people. As long as our people are consulted properly, then it will enable us to share their voices. And we need to make sure that the local needs and values guide how these reforms are applied, because it's our local people that will be affected. We need to be confident in the facts and confident in the voices of our people in order to represent them. Kia ora.
Okay, and Jenny, what box number?
Tacoma Rua.
Okay, we got I for Igloo. How can the council contribute to civil defence and emergency management in your area? I'm going to say.
Council must be well prepared for emergencies. They seem to be coming a lot more frequently in recent years and decades. So this means that we need to have strong plans, we need to have community education, we need to be able to have quick coordination of the services so that if or when a disaster strikes, our people are safe and supported. We need to be able to have good lines of communication so that we can pull the levers that need to be pulled in a time of emergency. We need to ensure that we have policy that supports civil defence and that we have policy that supports good emergency management in the local Rotorua area, focusing on flooding and disasters that can happen in our area, anything around geothermal, earthquakes. We need to be well informed and well coordinated with civil defence. Thank you.
I agree. Council has a vital role to play in civil defence and emergency management for the Rotorua district. It must ensure strong planning, well-resourced systems and clear communication before, during and after emergencies, which are inevitable. This means investing in robust infrastructure, maintaining effective warning systems and supporting coordinated response teams. Council should also work closely with civil defence, emergency services, iwi, community groups and neighbouring councils to strengthen regional readiness. Public education is also critical so households know how to prepare and how to respond. After emergencies, Council must lead recovery, rebuild infrastructure quickly and support affected families and businesses. And by prioritising readiness, partnership and resilience, Council can protect lives, reduce damage and help Rotorua recover faster and stronger when disasters strike. It is a core service of local government. Thank you.
Okay, Reynold, for the last box number, before hard-hitting questions, what box number do you want it to be?
25.
25, we can do that. Good old age that your car insurance excess comes down. I know that for years because it was like the one thing. It's like, okay, when I get to 25th birthday, the excess drops down to $300. Yeah, we got H for hotel. Do you support exploring alternative funding sources to reduce pressure on ratepayers?
My word, yes. I strongly support exploring alternative funding sources to reduce pressure on ratepayers. Relying too heavily on rates is just not sustainable, especially when many households are already struggling with rising costs. Council must actively seek government grants and subsidies to support infrastructure, tribal and private housing and community projects. We should also form fair partnerships with businesses and iwi to share investment and reduce risks. User pays models can be applied where appropriate, especially ensuring those who are directly benefit contribute more to costs. Council should also review its assets to identify opportunities for smarter management, leasing or divestment where this delivers better value. By widening our funding base, reducing its reliance on rates, ending discretionary spending and retiring debt, we can keep core services strong while making the system fairer and accountable for all. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny.
Yes, I truly do. We need new ways to fund council beyond just rates. Grants and government partnerships matter. However, I believe that Rotorua deserves its own solution. A tourism levy would mean our millions of visitors, about 5.5 million extra nights a year, need to be able to contribute to the infrastructure that they rely on when they're here, easing the load on local ratepayers and ensuring Rotorua thrives without these constant rate hikes. There's also alternative areas that we could look at, like there's surplus land that the council owns that could be utilised in different ways or even sold. We need to have solutions that are self-sustaining so that Rotorua isn't reliant on grants or isn't reliant on central government, but can grow and build and not just hang on by our fingernails, but keep moving forward in a self-sustaining way. Kia ora.
Okay. Do you want to take a break, or should we get straight on to hard-hitting questions?
Let's carry on, Reynolds.
Okay, Henry, can you please play the video? You'll have to do it on the XSplit because it won't.
Hard-hitting questions. We don't get anything funny. What does a question? Because every candidate has an answer. The hard-hitting questions.
Okay, let's get on to hard-hitting question number one. Come on. What does success for Te Ipu Wai Auraki Ward look like to you after 3 years? Reynold.
Thank you. Success for Te Ipu Wai Auraki Ward after 3 years for me means stronger communities, better services and greater trust in council. Rates will be capped to inflation, debt is coming down and spending is focused on legislated core services such as water, roads, waste, safety and governance. Essential infrastructure is being renewed and upgraded to support housing, growth and resilience to climate impacts. Residents will feel heard and respected through open consultation and transparent decision-making. The partnerships with iwi, community groups and local businesses will be delivering results in housing, in jobs and in environmental protection. Wasteful discretionary spending has been cut, making council more efficient and accountable, and success means residents seeing real improvements in daily life and feel confident about the future of Rotorua and their local ward. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny.
Well, I believe that success after 3 years in Te Ipu Wai Auraki Ward, it would mean that our ward feels genuinely heard and valued. It's not just about projects that are completed, but it's also about trust being rebuilt. I want residents to be able to say, the council listens to us, our voices are heard, our voices are represented. That means clear communication, accessible decision-making, transparency, strong relationships with mana whenua, and a connection to the land and the people. We will see visible progress, housing growth that is affordable and supported by infrastructure, investment in safer roads and better transport connections, and meaningful action on climate resilience. Importantly, success means rates are being managed more fairly. A tourism levy will be in place, easing the pressure on families, diversified investment, while ensuring visitors contribute to the costs and infrastructure they use. If after 3 years people feel more connected, more confident in council, and more hopeful for the future, then I've succeeded as a councillor. Kia ora.
Okay, let's get on to hard-hitting question number two. How will you integrate kaitiakitanga, yes. Whenever I read it, I need to spell it better so I can read it. Guardianship into regional, environmental and land use. Jenny.
Kaitiakitanga means recognising that we are guardians of our environment for future generations. We aren't just users of these resources today. In practice, this means embedding guardianship into every decision that we make, whether it's about land development, water management or climate planning. Development should enhance, not diminish, our natural environment. I will advocate for strong environmental protections and planning, greater investment in wetland restoration and biodiversity, and working closely with mana whenua to ensure cultural values are respected. Kaitiakitanga also means balancing growth with sustainability, ensuring that as we build homes and infrastructure, we protect water quality, native habitats and cultural sites. By taking this approach, council decisions will reflect both environmental responsibility and long-term community well-being. Thank you.
Okay, Reynold.
Thanks. I would integrate kaitiakitanga into regional environment and land use decisions by making guardianship a guiding principle alongside science and sound planning. Kaitiakitanga, as you said, means protecting land, water and ecosystems for future generations. Council must work closely with iwi and hapu, who bring mātauranga Māori and deep local knowledge to identify priorities and shape solutions. This approach will guide land use rules to prevent overdevelopment, safeguard natural areas, and restore degraded environments. It will also strengthen environmental projects such as lake health, biodiversity protection, and climate resilience. Kaitiakitanga ensures decisions respect both cultural values and ecological needs. By embedding it into council policies while focusing on legislated core services, we can balance development with environmental stewardship and build a healthier, more sustainable Rotorua. Kia ora.
Okay, and now let's get on to hard-hitting question number 3. What is your position on retaining Rotorua Lakes District Council Te Ipu Wai Auraki Māori Ward, and why do you hold that position? Reynold.
Thank you. I no longer support Council's Māori Ward. I was an early advocate because it promised fairer representation by recognising residents through both their location and ethnicity. In practice, however, highly effective Māori voices in the past have been consistently elected to council through the general ward system, ensuring perspectives were shaped by Te Reti o Waitangi and Mātauranga Māori, and making sure they were present in decisions on housing, water and the environment. While well-intentioned, the Māori ward has not significantly improved Māori voter participation. Proposals to extend it into co-governance were deeply divisive, and it's important to get this absolutely right. And they raised serious concerns about equal rights to the stage where the Attorney General intervened and ruled against co-governance because it would have violated the rights of non-Māori. So I now favour a single 10-seat general board to guarantee fair and equal democratic rights for all citizens. This approach potentially strengthens unity, accountability and trust. Here we take tātou. We are one people. Kia ora.
Okay, Jenny.
I support retaining the Māori ward as long as it truly reflects how mana whenua want to be represented. I think it's important to remember that having the Māori ward doesn't restrict Māori from standing on the general ward, and that it doesn't necessarily mean that those people can't stand. As Reynold was saying, there has always been strong representation within the Rotorua Council. I believe that Māori wards ensure that mana whenua and Māori voices are heard directly at the council table, no matter how many people are standing on the general ward. This is not about giving one group more, it's about equity, fairness, and living up to our obligations under Te Tiriti o Waitangi. The Māori ward strengthens democracy by making it more inclusive. It ensures decisions are informed by perspectives that too often are missing, particularly on issues like housing, land use, and environmental protection. It also strengthens partnerships, building trust between council, iwi, hapu, and whānau. By keeping the Māori ward, we honour Te Tiriti, improve the quality of decisions for everyone, and send a message that Rotorua values all of its people and their voices. Kia ora.
Okay, thank you for that for our candidates there. Now let's get ready for closing statements of why you should receive one of the 6 ticks for this election. Jenny.
So Rotorua is home for me and my whānau, and has been for the last 16 and a half years. I'm standing because I believe in a fairer and more connected community. I've been out in the community listening face to face and also through my social media to see what really matters to this community. I know the pressures that families are facing with rising rates, and I know what they're going through every day in our local community. I see how families are struggling with the cost of living, struggling to put food on their tables, and the last thing that council needs to be doing is constantly rising rates. I believe that we need to have a firm partnership with our iwi, with our whānau, and across all sectors of our community. I believe that I'm a voice that can listen well to the community and that I can take their voice to the council table. I can lead change and I can deliver on that change by being your voice on council. Kia ora.
Okay, Reynold.
Kia ora tātou. I come from the far north, from a blended family with links to Te Rarawa and Ngāi Takatoa in particular, with Celtic whakapapa. So I've been travelling the world, working on a contract basis, helped set up a university, worked for a period here at Waiariki, helping turn it around before a government intervention undid all the work we did. So I'm now standing for the general ward to bring greater fairness, integrity and accountability back to council. My previous experience on council was most unhappy because I had to contest an 8-year campaign to introduce co-governance, which still threatens democracy. As has been pointed out, the rates are rising far too fast, debt is out of control, money's being wasted on discretionary services while core services are suffering. I have proven experience internationally in governance and financial reform, and I will fight to cap rates to inflation, reduce debt, restore free parking in the CBD, and refocus council on its core business: roads, water, rubbish, safety and community facilities. Together, I believe we can rebuild trust and make Rotorua a city that works for all residents and ratepayers. Kia ora tātou.
Okay, thank you for that, for coming, and thank you to our audience members for participating. It's not easy trying to get people out here, and thank you to our candidates for making it happen, and for Jenny swapping shows to make sure that Reynold was not sitting on his own answering.
You're welcome, Reynold.
Yeah, as predictions go, if it's in the ballot, we do have, depending where you are in the country, you have up to a 50% no one tells you what's happening in advance.
Rude.
And at least Jenny has helped make sure that when some of these candidates who don't tell you what's happening but turn up to the later show unannounced, there will be at least one extra seat available.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Can we come again?
Yeah. Should we come to the 4 o'clock, Reynold?
Sit in the audience and have your rotten tomatoes to be thrown at, metaphorically speaking, and just say it's like, well, look, we come here to support you guys. Yeah. And so we'd like to thank Jenny and Reynold for making it time there. I mean, the purpose of double debates is to ensure all candidates have a fair go. I wish more have taken the opportunity, but you never know what could happen. We could have 20 candidates turning up at 4 o'clock, and that's going to be a very interesting show if that does happen. I'd also like to thank Henry for being on the editor's desk and making it work, Nick for being our candidate liaison, Stacey for doing the graphics, Paul for being our remote editor, Helen for doing the questions, Laura for doing our advertising graphics around that, and Helen for doing the questions on making everything all work. We'll be back here at 4 p.m. for part 2 for Rotorua's how do we say that ward name again? Was it Ipu Wai Auraki General Ward?
Thank you.